Do you want to know why you should go and see wrestling live? Because crazy things can happen. I remember at one WWE house show I went to, Triple H spent half of his match having a joke with someone in the crowd. It was great. This ties into the idea that when the cameras are off, anything is fair game. So I am signed for What Culture. Please hit that subscribe button. And this is the 10 craziest things that happened after SmackDown went off air. Number 10, Austin stuns McMahon. So straight away you're like, what? Which is kind of ironic, because that doesn't sound very new or exciting, especially as we're referring to a time in 2002. By then, Stone Cold Steve Austin had stunned Vince McMahon so many times, most people didn't even notice. The reason the 31st of January of said year hit a chord is because it wasn't meant to happen, or at least it wasn't in the plans. After the Rattlesnake had arrived during the TV portion to stun Vince as Ric Flair was about to sign his percentage of the company over, Austin was told the credits had rolled, so he picked the chairman of the board up and he dropped him for the second time. Fans lost their minds because Steve did have that magic power, but it was McMahon's reaction to this that got everyone. He looked genuinely surprised about this, and it's not often you saw that on TV. Number 9, NXT TakeOver. Survivor Series 2019 will always be remembered as the pay-per-view where Raw vs SmackDown got a third opponent in NXT. After the main roster got stuck in Saudi Arabia, WWE made the call to add the developmental brand to the mix, which resulted in an awesome SmackDown. It finished with Triple H leading his troops into battle after they had run wild all night. A huge brawl was going on when we did go to black on the TV, but it did not stop in the venue. If you were there, you saw a mad moonsault by Chad Gable, Oat was flying off the rig apron, Mustafa Ali hitting this ridiculous Spanish fly to Lio Rush. You gotta go and see that. NXT mostly held their own during this extended war too, which was a sign of things to come, and arguably also served as the peak for them. I mean, the craziness that came after this, I don't think we saw it coming. Number 8, MSG becomes the Funhouse. We all know the deal with Bray Wyatt, super creative guy who has never been backed up by the cogs in the machine. No matter what character he comes up with, we book him like he sucks. Back in September 2019, The Fiend was still riding high after still being pretty new to the scene, which is why WWE sent him out in front of the fans after an episode of SmackDown. This actually had a few eyebrow-raising moments because not only was Bray in action, but he was fighting the B team. At first that doesn't seem like much, but who was in that group? That's right, Bo Dallas, Wyatt's real-life brother. Of course, this whole thing only lasted a matter of seconds as the Fiend ate them alive, but once again the fans loved this because Wyatt was super over. It was likely one of the few times where Bray interacted with his sibling in front of people too, because for some reason, WWE was really against that. Number 7, John Mysterio. On the 10th of September 2021, there was a special match for the SmackDown Live crowd. We had the Bloodline taking on the Mysterios and their flipping mystery partner, John Cena. Now this was a huge deal because it was during that summer where Cena was only back for a few months but brought a huge crowd with him wherever he went, and this was also the first match since he'd taken on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. It was fantastic to see in clip form because he was just so over, and of course he got the win too after he dodged the spear and hit Jimmy Uso with the AA. There was another reason the WWE Universe lost their mind about this too, because it meant the Bloodline lost. And as I sit here in current day, does Roman Reigns' group ever lose? The answer is no. Number 6, Bryan runs the ropes. If Bryan Danielson did this today, nobody would care. A wrestler runs the ropes. Who gives a flub? It happens all the time and never makes sense anyway. I mean, who in their right mind has the power to throw another human being across the ring without them just going nope? When you take into account this happened on Boxing Day 2017 though, it was like Santa Claus was in there. Because at the time, Bryan was on the injured list and had been forced into retirement. No one was even allowed to look at him with bad intentions, but to keep him on the show, he had been named the SmackDown General Manager. On this evening, Danielson was also the special guest referee, and I think he must have got so hyped for AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn and Jinder Mahal, he started doing some rope running. Zayn then joined in as they did that crisscross thing that wrestlers like to do, but this was a terrible mistake for Sami, because he was dropped with the RKO and he lost. I remember when this happened though, because everybody at the show went crazy and started going, oh my gosh, Daniel Bryan is back, and they were right. Just not yet. So I suppose this one came down to hope, and as the Shawshank Redemption told us, hope is a good thing, the best of things. Number 5, an immortal unmasking. After Vince McMahon fired Hulk Hogan following his defeat at WrestleMania 19, Hulk returned as Mr. America. That's right, I apologize, but I am revealing it now. Spoilers. It was so dumb because we were supposed to think we didn't know who this was, even though he was quite clearly fueled by Hulkamania. It did lead to a bunch of dumb skits where Vince would try and prove this, and look, Hulk. It was goofy wrestling, and goofy wrestling for life. There's no way Hulk was taking any of this seriously either, as after the 26th of June 2003 SmackDown, Mr. America looked out into the crowd, lifted his mask to reveal it was Hogan, before doing the shh motion with his lips. No way he could do that today, social media would ruin him. While this seems innocuous, it would turn out to be quite the event, as a week later Hulk quit over creative differences. We didn't see him again till 2005. So had he already made up his mind? I am going to say yes. Number 4, the Heyman hot tag. Paul Heyman makes his bumps count. That's why when Brock Lesnar F5'd him at SummerSlam 2002 through a table, people lost their minds. It was deliberately saved for big moments. When the cameras were off after the 29th of October 2021 SmackDown, however, Heyman decided this rule didn't matter as much, so he went crazy. For you see, during the Bloodline versus Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits, Paul decided he was done with being the peacekeeper, jumped on the apron, and demanded the tag. Yep, the crowd lost it, especially as the show was live from Heyman's old stomping grounds of Philadelphia, and bless this man. He got in the ring, tripped over before leaving with the tail between his legs. This is why he is the master, my friends. The dude just totally gets it. Number 3, the Revival gets spat on. Once upon a time, the team we now known as FTR were making a living as the Revival in WWE. They smashed it there and had a ton of good matches before they left for the wider world in 2020. One of the reasons they chose to go as well is because Vince McMahon loved making Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson do a lot of comedy spots. You all remember the Oozy Hot Ass Cream or whatever it was. And I can only imagine that such moments coupled with things like this that happened after the 20th of August 2009 SmackDown was why they decided to hightail it. Happening before a dark match between these guys and Randy Orton taking on the New Day, some crazy fan decided to spit on Dash and Dawson because some of the Revival's sweat had hit them. I suppose that is like for like, but also no, it's not. The former NXT Tag Team Champions looked at this dude like they were gonna kill him when security rightfully removed this idiot. And don't ever do this when you go to a wrestling show. Shout and scream, but anything that could be conceived as physical contact, absolutely not. Number 2, a SUPERKICK party. So this caused all kinds of issues afterwards, which is ridiculous because everybody that saw it said it was excellent fun. But as we know, we're not allowed to have nice things, so shut up. Going down after the 28th of August 2018 SmackDown, AJ Styles, the Usos, Baron Corbin, and Rusev Day all decided it would be great if referee Danilo Efebo got involved. After all, this wasn't airing on TV, only the live fans would see it, and any social media content would probably put smiles on people's faces. So as soon as the moment was right, Danilo smashed Rusev with a super kick before pinning the Bulgarian brute, with Styles going down for the pin, and yes, AJ had put the referee top on too. It was even better because Rusev wouldn't let him have his moment and he kicked out at 2. And yeah, when they got backstage, somebody went potty at them because they didn't think this was the right thing to do. Incorrect, I say. It sounds like nonsense to me, and boy howdy do I like nonsense. Number 1, Kiss Me Kurt. Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle had one hell of a rivalry during the Ruthless Aggression era. If both guys had stayed with WWE, there's no way we wouldn't have kept going back to it, and by 2003 they were headlining WrestleManias and SummerSlams and winning world titles all over the place. As this went through multiple SmackDowns, the pair were often required to close the show, and I suppose one night Brock ran out of things to do, so called an audible. Because as the two stared each other down, Lesnar grabbed Angle's face and he gave him a big old kiss right on the lips. Kurt reacts with pure shock as fans lose their minds, and you have to assume Angle didn't know this was coming. He sells it too well. Either way though, there is no way Vince McMahon would have let his beast smooch someone else on television, so if you'd like to see something similar in the future, get your ass to a live show. You will always have some fun. Know of any other crazy things that happened after wrestling has gone off air? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Then head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles. Please do come follow us on social media at WhatCultureWWE, and I'm at Simon316. And listen, go watch more videos because we need your eyes. My name is Simon for What Culture. Sorry about my voice today. It is going funny. Speak to you soon.